Namaste viewers. Today we are going to discuss ethics in social science research, AI and techno-ethical challenges in academia. As you all are well aware that artificial intelligence has playing a great role in our social science research as well, and it has touched upon almost all the gamut of social science research. We have different disciplines of sciences like political science, international relations, psychology, sociology, anthropology, and these AI or digital collective machines, they have managed massive data. On the basis of this data, many of our findings, it's very difficult to manage the meaningful policy making. Sometimes even the claim, the accountability, responsibility of that findings is not clear. So today we will discuss about the ethical aspects that is inextricably linked to any research in social sciences. As you all are well aware that we have three methods. First one is quantitative, second is qualitative, and third one is mixed method, in which we apply quantitative and qualitative both the methods. And most of the researchers, they preferably go for the qualitative methods or mixed method, because the natural sciences, they preferably go for the quantitative methods, because we have our value systems and values that are integral part of our social sciences. So today we will discuss about our research methods and the recent development, the inclusion of AI, and some recent development that is influencing the entire gamut of our research, either it is survey of literature, research methodology, analysis, interpretation, data collection, case studies, hypothesis formation, research questions, and including findings also. With the click of your mouse of your computer or laptop or tab, you can just touch and you can find the as you apply the prompt, all the desirable result will come. And it's very much difficult for serious researchers who would like to pursue a meticulous research with the aim to bring something new, always get a challenge for it. So we will discuss today about the ethical issues like biases, like prejudices, like misinterpretation or misinformation that has been done, or that is very much in fashion these days in our social media, in our entire academia. In our old traditional methods, we usually use the positivism, interpretatism, and critical theory. Positivism that has focus on empirical data. Whatever observable, on the basis of that data, we come with the result. Value is not any place in that type of pursuit of research. When we add the human subjectivity and meaning making, that is interpretatism. And in the interpretatism, it has more keen or more close to our social science research. In the similar fashion, we have critical theories also that examines power structures, ideology, and social justice, that has played very strong role, especially the representatives of the different communities, different ethnic populations. At the same time, another theory that brought about in our social science was constructivism, that whatever we observe in our society, that is social construct, and the researchers should pursue to find the nuances of social built or social constructed knowledge on contextualities, that is contextualism and constructivism. At the same time, we have our postmodernism also that challenge the universal truth, that always claim that human being and our social phenomenon are very much fragmented narratives. The same event or phenomenon can be true for one society and untrue or unreal for the others. Like our freedom fighters, they are considered by the Britishers that they are terrorist militants, but they are freedom fighters. They are full of patriotism and they made our country set free. So there are the different narratives, and that fragmented narratives should be considered in the entire this research, pursuing research. So this meta narrative or reductionist approach was challenged in the postmodern era. Now we have a glance at the evolution of social science research. We have studied about the classical foundations that was done by our Emile Durkheim, Max Weber, and Karl Marx. And in the 20th century, we have developed our own research methods in which we adopted the natural science methods like observation, field research, data collection, or survey methods. Go for the case study and the field work. Data is collected, and that data collected should be analyzed with the tools. And we go for the hypothesis testing, validation, non-validation, or invalidation. We go for the testing of the research questions. And finally, we formulate or come with the final result or new findings. That tailored-made new findings may be helpful to our policymakers. That was the method in the past. But in the modern time or postmodern era, the AI, which came with the big data that we can easily access and analyze through different machines. And these machines has a very huge potential. It can collect huge data, and that takes no responsibility of accountability of ethics. There are so many ethical issues are challenged, like the matter of transparency and biases. At the same time, the matter of accountability, because like driverless car, and in a traffic, it kills a passenger or a person on foot. So who will be responsible for that? So it's a very much important that we should develop ethics also. At the same time, we should come with the general terms and conditions that can give the right path to channelize the research through AI and related machine learnings research that must have some ethical values inextricably linked to it. So ethical and political shift in research priorities are the new revolution of our new generation and the coming of different type of AI tools or AI instruments that we are using these days. Now we pursue about the research design. It's very much important because it defines the objective of the pursuing research, and we choose our method also. Method research, like we have qualitative methods, quantitative methods, or mixed methods, applying the qualitative and quantitative both. The role of the research questions, hypothesis formation, and reliability and validity that ensure consistency and accuracy and reliability, and that is validated or invalidated through our particular tools. Ethical consideration is completely always a very much integral part of any research, and that is our emphasis of this running program, that we can't miss the ethical issues. Like in the qualitative methods, we go for the ethnographical research, in which we go for the cultural aspects and cultural insights through immersive field work. In that, ethnographical research is a very much meticulous research pursued in the field. But in these days, the data collection, which has accomplished by our AI and the different tools, that can easily access the labyrinth of huge or tremendous data that can easily be accessed. And there are challenges because that depends on the already existing data, and they are biased also in many times. Like during the colonial period in the global south, it was Eurocentrism that biases that the people of the global south, they are uncivilized, uncultured, and uncouth. And the new narratives came that no, nothing like that. India or similarly African countries, South Asian countries, Indian subcontinent, the population, they are already very much advanced in the ancient historical time. So Eurocentric biases you can find easily. They are percolating into the research. That was colonial digital approach. That can be free. That can be freed in our research. And we should come with a new narrative like the critique of the Eurocentrism, in which we find that our findings, that should not be biased. That should be very much subjective one, and the interpretation from the different vantage point that bring very much grounded theories, and content analysis should help in it. In the similar fashion, we have the quantitative methods like survey methods, experimental methods, and statistical methods. They are very much a part of the natural sciences, and we adopted in social science as it is. But when we add the values and rigor, we find that they are very much subjective matter, and qualitative analysis was adopted, and sometimes we use and apply both the method, qualitative and quantity together. That is mixed method, that is very much popular in our social science research. We have challenges like sample bias, generalization, and the limitations. Now we discuss the role of AI, artificial intelligence, and big data in the social science research. AI has playing a great role in automating the data collection and analysis, and it is very much easy for the artificial intelligence to collect tremendous data. At the same time, it analyzes also, but that analysis may be biased because sometimes it always favors the developed country or the Western notions in the findings. They have an edge on the development of technology, so it can never be bias free, or it is always be prejudiced. So the data collections that should be analyzed, that should be critically analyzed through a particular vantage point that do the justice to the other part of the world also. Like in the sentiment analysis, they go for the social media, and from the social media they try to collect the data, interpret, and try to learn the trends, like the election time, like any phenomenon happening in the society, and they predict and try to come accurately. But that is not fair. In a long time, it harms because of the biasness, because they always try to manipulate, and many times they misinform, and that has very much domino effect on society. So it is a tool that should be constructive approach. The constructive approach, we should go for analysis and use these type of tools in our research and is pursuing research very much selectively, that it should be constructive, it must be ethically, responsibly engaged, like biases, like privacy invasion and algorithmic discriminations. At the same time, whatever the data available online, or sometimes it's available in the different reservoirs also, they are accessed and they are misused. So we should be very much alert when we apply these tools. It is very much a fashion in our society these days, in our universities, our institutions, that people easily apply AI, and they started manipulating, and they rely on that particular vantage point, and data is collected. But it is not fair that whatever usually AI, they are trained, they have the trained data, and that trained data is always biased. So it always give some type of misinformation, some type of manipulation, and that is intrinsically engaged. It is very difficult to find. or whenever you are not very much alert, you can't get rid of that. So when we talk about the ethical issues, it means that we have to maintain the biasness free, maintain the prejudice free, at the same time privacy of the participants in the research, that should also be maintained. Even the confidentiality of the participants, they are also compromised. We must engage our participants in the research, but at the same time we should take their consent and maintain their privacy. But when we apply the AI tools, it is above these ethical moral issues, and it usually interpret in its own way. So it's just collect data and interpret in the way that it is fed. It is trained. It has trained data, and many times you can find that there are different type of AI tools, and in the recent times, sometimes they are checked, they are freed, and to maintain the social values, terms and conditions, social and traditional values, and free from the biases. But many times it all depends on the person or the team who created the AI. Like in the recent time, we have GOK 3 that came with huge data, and it is in great news in the recent time in social media. And the main reason was it has not controlled many of the issues which are censored, which should be censored, and it creates a chaotic situation, including India also. It can happen in research also, like for the research purpose, if you are using AI tool and you create the bibliography. In the bibliography, you can find that most of the collections of the books and the authors, they are fabricated, they are manufactured, they are not the true. So if anyone who is applying the AI tool and blindly relying on its findings, it can mislead the research, complete research, and it will of no use at all. The research, if you are not using AI selectively or with the proper meticulously, you are not checking it, it may be misleading result. That is very much chances of misleading the research. At the same time, we have intersectionality and the inclusivity in the social science research. Like when we study, we find that West has its own notion of research and pattern. So there are so many issues that should be included, like the race, gender, nationality, ethnicity, class. Ability means the person who is physically challenged, or they should also be included if we are collecting the sample in the society, because they are representing the entire gamut of research. And one researcher should keep in mind to make the research more inclusive. That can only help in coming to a unbiased and proper desired result that is expected, that will come with the nuances and critically analyzed new findings. At the same time, we can find that participatory research that involves marginalized community in the co-creation of the knowledge. In that participatory research, you can find that the researcher who is the part of the society, and he try to engage without informing about the participants that he's a researcher. And in that research, we have a great hope that the person who is replying, the person who is participants, they are giving the true picture of the society when pursuing the research, that it is of political system or analysis or sociological study or anthropological study, psychological study. So we can free our biasness, or we can make the participant natural if you go for the participatory research. But if you apply AI and you give the prompt that pursue a participatory research, that it can access the literature, it can access the data, big data, and many a times you can find that the data access to them, they are Eurocentric. They are more towards Western notions because they have advanced AI, and in our society, in our technological advancement, we are lagging. So many a times we can find that the research which was done by AI, they are compromised and they are not fully satisfying our our research. Now we explore some more aspects of our ethical consideration of the data collections and interpretation. Like if our participant, he doesn't want to give his or her name, that should be that should be we should maintain the secrecy, privacy, anonymity, or confidentiality of the research. This is not in the scope of AI, because AI, whatever you can prompt, it will produce the data, and sometimes it's fabricate also, sometimes it's manipulate also, and that brings to a very much distorted scenario, distorted result. Ethical dilemmas in the digital, ethnographic, and the online research. I have already told that distortion of the facts and big data which was exposed to us, they may be collected from the different for the different viewpoint and for the different purposes. So there is a high chance that biases are already intermingled and the part of that research or the findings that is produced by our AI tools. Manipulation of the statistical findings, the dangers of misinterpretation. Misinterpretation is very much common phenomenon of when AI analyze, because only human can analyze as he wish or desire. We have our aim, objective in research, we have our hypothesis, we have our research questions, and accordingly we go for the hypothesis testing, for the validation, invalidation, and we go for the formulation of new research findings. But in the entire well-defined paradigm of research, you can find that AI can manipulate as you prompt. So much biasness, so much manipulation, so much distortion is possible with only prompt, because AI is a great help or great assistant, but it doesn't have any wisdom, it doesn't have any decision making. So as you prompt, it will produce or it will offer you. So the most important point that one should always keep in mind, that ethical issues are inextricably linked to any research. AI is a phenomenon that cannot be reversed. It will go ahead, and there are chances of bias in research instruments like question design and the sampling issues also, like manipulation of the statistical findings, that is misinterpretation. Institutional review board and research ethical committees, they should come with proper guidelines that can control the biases, the respect for the privacy, the respect of anonymity, and confidentiality of any research. Digital ethnography or online research has its own challenges that we should keep in mind, and our AI tools, whatever the research they produce, they are highly biased. They are based on the digital research or whatever the big data it has at its exposure. So the ethical implication of AI in social research has some different biases, like algorithmic bias, that risk of the reinforcing societal inequality, privacy concerns, like when we handle to collect the data from the participant, we always have in mind the privacy of that person. But AI can always violate that privacy. AI can collect the data that never take the consent of the participant. accountability. AI generated research, AI is not going to take the responsibility at all. You are giving the prompt and it giving the answer. It replies accordingly. If you want to manipulate your data, distort your data, you can give the prompt, accordingly it will work. But finally, who will be responsible? AI generated data has no responsibility. And this is the very reason we expect and for AI governance. You have already come with the guidelines, but we find that the global south, they are laggards, and EU and Western countries, they have the edge on the discoveries and invention in the field of AI and similar fields, machine learning. So we should, for the AI governance, we should come with our own guidelines, and India is taking ahead, taking a strong path in this direction, and we hope that in days to come, India, whatever the guidelines it will come, that will be adopted by the global south also. India is a leader of the global south, and there is huge, tremendous expectation and hope, a ray of hope from India, Bharat. So for the transparency, accountability, and ethical biases, we ensure through our own AI governance, India should come with the guidelines in these directions, and whatever progress we have done, it's irreversible. It can't be, we can't go back, but we should use these tools very selectively with great attention. Like challenges of social science research in digital age are data overloaded, fake news and information, AI-generated misinformation and deepfake threats, lack of the ethical AI governance in social science research, the need for interdisciplinary research and approaches. And in the future, we have hope that integration of the computational methods and the traditional methods, the rise of social science research and the citizen science and the public engagement, ethical AI framework for the academia and research institutions, sustainable development and sustainable focused research in the climate science justice, the growing role of the cross-cultural and the national studies. These aspects can also be very much helpful through AI, and keeping in mind the ethical values that is inextricably linked to the any social science research, we can go progress, and Bharat will prosper in the field of social science research as well. Dhanyavad. Thank you.